Hi everybody, how you doing? Glad you make it to the channel. Hey, this morning we're looking at the Bergamot Brass building in Delavan, Wisconsin. And lots going on in Delavan this year. Got a lot of improvements. As you see, I posted quite a bit of things going on with the city street department. And now we're looking at a renovation of the Bergamot Brass building. And I'll take you around and show you what's going on there. And there's a lot of history on this building, and I'm going to talk a little bit about it as I walk. So let's journey on down the sidewalk and I'll explain what's going on. All right? Okay, first of all, I'd like to fill you in on Street Harrison in Wisconsin. Back in 1978, right around there is when this street used to be a one-way street. And I'll show you here down the road to our left. As you can see, we're looking at this property. Across here, right about here at this intersection, was where Borg Industries used to be. And it was Borg Fabrics and Borg Instruments. And Borg Fabrics is where my wife used to work. And she stayed there for I think 2 or 3 years working, and it wasn't too bad at work. She didn't complain too bad. I remember picking her up every day because she didn't drive, she didn't have a license, and it was a pain coming down this road because everybody's letting out and it was a one-way street. Well, after they closed it, they opened us up to a two-way street. So all this land you see here that I'm panning across used to be the Borg Instruments, or maybe Borg Fabric. I can't remember exactly what it was, but this is all from one end of the street all the way down to the other end. And we're going to take a little gander down there and see what's going on with the Bergamot Brass after they had changed hands, you know, later on in the years as it went by. So as you know, you can see that when they tore this building down, and I'll have some pictures that I'll dig up out of my computer that show this whole building still intact. And then I wish I could have had the destruction of when they took it all down. I didn't have time to come and photograph or videotape. I wasn't in the videotaping at that time. But they made this into it was kind of unique because they had a basement underneath the factory, and instead of filling this all in, they made it into a detention pond, which was the right thing to do. And we'll take a walk down here and show you. And I used to cut this all the time when I was working for the city last year. And you see right over there, that's call that Groundhog Hill. On that hill there's nothing but groundhogs everywhere, holes everywhere. And here's our little bit of water that came in. It's not real much, but it's always there. It's got a stagnant. A lot of cattails. And you gotta keep this all mowed now, so it looks good. But history goes by real quick. You blink your eye and it's all gone. So, take you down here and show you the other part of the pond. It's like a two-part pond here. Here are the bullfrogs. So looking across the way there now, this is what's left of the Borg Instruments and Borg Fabric building. And now that's Bergamot Brass ahead of us now. And what's going on with that now, they finally decided, you see, a while back, the city basically owned the whole factory, I believe. And we were responsible to kind of take care of the property around it. And then they were trying to sell it. And The first half of the building, I guess Bergamot Brass owned that, and then we, as a city, owned the rest of the Borg building. So it stayed in the city for quite some time. You know, so yeah, I'll take you on down and show you the rest here. Now getting back to Borg Instruments. Borg Instruments used to make the instrument panels for a lot of different cars, you know, Chevy, Ford, and all that. And they made tachometers, speedometers, gas gauges, and all that stuff. And then the fabrics part was just fabric. They made all kinds of different fabrics, and that's where my wife worked. You know, so right now they're renovating this building, and they're making it into apartment complexes, the way I understand it. So we're going to take a little walk down here, and we might be able to peek inside if we get over the top of the wall here. There's no way in. I think I can stick the camera through the window and get a little view. Not much to see, but you can see this building goes on for a long way, so it's going to be a lot of room for apartments. And I hope I got this right. I heard this from a guy from at the city that told me that that's what they're planning on doing, making this into apartment complexes. So imagine what they got to do is they got to take all these walls, the outside walls, and they got to firm them out with a 2x4, and then probably foam them, and then put in some type of insulation in to keep it warm, and then they'll convert the inside into apartments. Well, I think we got a place up here we can go. As you can see, this goes way, way down. It's almost about a block long. I'm going to stick this in the window here and see what we can see. Give you an idea. Not much in there to see, but there's, I believe, 2 floors on this part, and then there's 3 floors on the other part. Kind of gives you an idea what it looks like inside. And then across the road is the other part of Borgs back in its day. And underneath this road there's a tunnel, a couple tunnels, well, maybe just one tunnel I think, where the workers would walk underneath to get to the other side of the road. And I remember that when we were taking care of the building as a city worker, when I was working there, we had to you know, slurry the tunnel shut. So we spent about a week doing that. And all this here was made into apartment complexes also. What we're looking at here right now is a garage for the complex. So like I say, there's a lot happening in Delavan. And I just thought I'd bring this to you guys. So I'll just go back in the 1978 when the street used to be a one-way street. That's quite a deal. Times really change fast. Then we got all the debris over here that they took out, all the walls, or some of the walls. As you can see, that's the other part of Borg there. You know, it's all apartment complexes. My daughter actually lived in there for a while. They're real small units and affordable. Not too bad. And then across the street here is a tennis court. This is where all the big shots came and played tennis back in them days. And we call it Latimer Park. Another one our parks. So there's the face of it. The other part of Borg Instruments and Borg Fabrics. So this building has been a sore thumb for a long time. The only thing that was happening here at the time when Borgs was finished and then they moved, this building sat forever. And then they had Bergamot brass on this part here. This part of the building was more newer. It held up longer, and the old part was really bad shape. Basement was underwater. I remember going down in there and you couldn't even get in. It was so deep with water. So then were good old days. Just thought I'd bring this to you and hope you enjoyed it. Short little film here about some history in Delavan. And just show you that things are popping over in Delavan. Things are moving. We got some work. It's hard to find help, but a lot of the help that they bring in is not from town. But yeah, I can remember the days when we used to have to take care of the sidewalk here in the winter times. We were sanding it by hand. Had to shovel sand on the sidewalk while they worked in the building. And we're way back in 1980, 89 all the way through 92, somewhere around in there, and then we quit doing that. We didn't have to take care of anything anymore. So let's see what else we got. I think that's about it, all I got to say about it. So guys, hope you liked this video. And another little bit of history on Delavan. And if you guys liked the video, please subscribe to me if you're new, and hit that like button. That helps. And make some comments. And like I said, if you make a comment, I'm not subscribed to you, I'll be glad to subscribe to you back. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video. All right, we'll see you. Goodbye.